Look, last I checked, I don't think this United team have a peak Messi. I don't think they still had a pretty alright Iniesta, a peak Neymar, a peak Cannibal Suarez. I don't think they do, and a very good Rakitic. That was a very good team that he had at Barcelona, and he just happened to have the greatest front three that club football has ever seen. I am more impressed with what Luis Enrique has done with Spain than what he did with that treble winning team. Luis Enrique. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Whether that is actually the sort of right fit for your boys, Man United. But let's sort of break it down, man. Let's look at it out. Shout out to your boys at Eurosport for this. So let's read. Reading is good. So Luis Enrique is on the shortlist to become the next Man United manager, but the players want Mauricio Pochettino. So United appointed Ralph Ragnick on an interim basis after sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in November, which I thought that was very harsh. Them sacking Ole, I thought that was very, very harsh, and I thought that was the wrong thing to do. And the Ole cost and juju still hangs over Man United for what they did to my boy, man. And while Ragnick hasn't ruled out the possibility of taking the role on a permanent basis, a lackluster start to his time at the helm has already generated rumors of who is next on the hot seat. Look, he was never gonna. I think it was. I mean, it would have been interesting if they'd been playing really well and winning lots of games. If that would have happened, I do feel there would have been a temptation to sort of like make him a permanent dude. But because they've been so indifferent, I think okay, the plan is just get top four, and then when I would actually get the real dude to say what's up afterwards, man. So yeah, what are we doing here? And ESPN are reporting that Spain coach Luis Enrique has joined a shortlist that also includes Ajax boss Erik ten Hag and Paris Saint-Germain boss Mauricio Pochettino. Enrique dismissed the links back in November as he was slated to replace Solskjaer, but his attacking style of football is considered a strong fit at Old Trafford. We'll talk about that. His contract is to stay in charge of Spain until the end of the World Cup next winter. But ESPN also reporting that among those on the shortlist, the United dressing room favors a move for Pochettino. See, that's key there. He can't go in the summer because there is no way that. I mean, we'll talk more about. Yeah, I mean, that right there. It's like the World Cup. Even if the World Cup was in the summer, boom. But the World Cup is in the winter. There is no way in hell, based on the kind of work he's been doing with Spain, based on how well they did at the Euros, how young the team is, and so forth, that he's going to now stop that to now be United manager. Now, obviously, if they offer him a truckload of cash, that's a possibility. But I just don't see Luis Enrique stopping the really good work he's doing with Spain, where I think Spain, especially if Ansu Fati is fit, could be a real outside threat come the World Cup. But I don't think he wants to leave that, especially how well they did at the Euros. But ESPN also reporting that among those on the shortlist, the United dressing room favors a move for Pochettino. That's interesting. According to the report, a number of senior players believe the Argentine is the right man to take the role on a permanent basis, and his appointment has been discussed. So Pochettino has struggled to win the blah, blah, blah. So you have to say, so this is Pochettino. His future at the club could even ride on whether the club manages to get past Real Madrid in the upcoming Champions League round of 16 fixtures. So here's my thing here. First on Luis Enrique, then on Pochettino. So let's say Luis Enrique had stepped down as Spain manager. I still think it's a risk. Luis Enrique didn't do very well at Roma. You know, he was okay, but he didn't do really well. Now, he won the treble with Man United. So he would say, he won the treble with Barcelona in 2015. So he would say, whoa, half up, he won a treble. And also, he was the man that masterminded one of the greatest comebacks. No, the greatest comeback in Champions League. Well, one of the greatest comebacks in Champions League history, because what Liverpool did in 2005 was still crazy. So which is the miracle at Camp Nou. But my thing though is, look, last I checked, I don't think this United team have a peak Messi. I don't think they still had a pretty alright Iniesta, a peak Neymar, a peak Cannibal Suarez. I don't think they do. And a very good Rakitic. That was a very good team that he had at Barcelona. And he just happened to have the greatest front three that club football has ever seen. So you now, and also his work with Spain is very good, but Spain are a very good team. But Spain are a very particular kind of team that can play a very particular brand of football. If Luis Enrique comes, Cristiano is still there. Cristiano has to play. Cristiano has to be embedded into the team. So obviously you have Green. Okay. So my thing though is I'm not sure whether Luis Enrique is the right man. So I don't really understand the thing. You say, okay, because he plays an attacking brand of football and so forth. Okay, that's all well and good. But can that attacking brand of football be effective for this United team? Now, you now come, because for me, I just feel like if Luis Enrique, and also he's not going to step down from the Spain coach before the World Cup in the winter. That's not happening. Now, if you now look at Pochettino, 100%. What I agree with that article is, if they lose to Real Madrid, he'll be sacked on the spot. We'll get cross to the clan or Pepe Le Pew to carry on the end of the season, but El Khelafi will get a nuke and nuke him right on that pitch the moment they blow the whistle if they lose to Real Madrid. So that's fair. And my thing that the only thing that will keep Pochettino in the job, here's the thing though, I believe that even if Pochettino wins the Champions League with PSG, I still think he walks. I think there just seems to be a breakdown in communication, and I do feel that, like, maybe the last FU to El Khelafi and the board for not trusting him would be to win the Champions League, and then he'll just dip. So I think he's going to be gone regardless. But for sure, if he doesn't win the seal or he loses to Real Madrid, he's going to be gone. It's interesting they say that players want Pochettino, and if you have to choose between Pochettino and Luis Enrique, I would go with Pochettino, because Pochettino has coached in the Premier League. And I just think that for the squad and the team that they have, I think Pochettino can do better with the players that United now have, as opposed to Luis Enrique. I think for Luis Enrique, you need a truly seismic shift. And I'm not sure whether he'd be given enough funds to completely rebuild the team. And I just think that it would be a safer bet to roll with a Pochettino. Now, people will say, Pochettino has not won anything. Luis Enrique has freaking won a treble. And my answer to that is, would Luis Enrique take that Tottenham team to a final? I get it. I don't give Poch that much credit, but I give him some credit. With that same exact team, would Luis Enrique's tactics have taken them to the CL final? Now, I'm sure Luis Enrique would not have screwed up the way that Homeboy screwed up, but still. And you do the adverse. If Pochettino had the greatest front three that we've ever seen in club football, would he have won the treble? Probably. I don't know for sure, because I want to give Luis Enrique credits for what he did, but I think that there'd be a very good chance that he'd still win the treble with that amazing front three. On who knows, maybe would have won the next year. So Luis Enrique's successes is tied. I am more impressed with what Luis Enrique has done with Spain than what he did with that treble winning team, because I think that's what he did with Spain. That was mostly Luis Enrique, because that team, it's talented, but it's super talented, and they really pushed Italy all the way and almost beat Italy. It only happened to be penalty, and they outplayed that was the one game in which Italy were completely outplayed for 2 hours, was the Spain game. Spain completely outplayed them, but they just happened not to have an Iniesta or a David Villa or a guy to finish them off. So that shows. So maybe if you look at what he did with Spain, I'm like, okay, look what he did with Spain. But as I said, Spain have very particular kind of players with particular technical skills. Rashford, you're not going to compare Rashford, Lingard, and all these dudes to even are you going to compare them to Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati, Oyarzabal, really, Pedri, bro? Like, Pedri is better than every midfielder that United have. So these are very technical players that are very high on the technical scale. So, which means that they can play a very technical brand of football. So maybe Pochettino might be the right pick, but as I said again, they should have gotten Conte now to maximize Cristiano, and then when he leaves for the 2 years, you then bring in a Ten Hag to now build a philosophy for the team. That should have been the right way. But it is what it is. We are waiting and we see, guys. Who do you think will be United manager? Like, subscribe, remember to hit that website. One love. Remember to head to the official website, halfoffootballhot.com, for all the latest in those rankings and those bricks. Join the official Discord server to take the conversation further. And remember, every single day I'll be doing a player of the day for your visual enjoyment. And if you want to contact me, feel free to send me an email. I'll do my best to respond. Peace.